Hey everybody, it's GauntletX and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today we're going to be playing another Premier Draft of Phyrexia, all will be one with one Alchemy card, replacing a common in every pack. Without further ado, let's just get into the draft. What do we got here? We've got Filigree Silex, which can be pretty fun in like green-red oil. Not really for any other archetype though, so it is pretty narrow. We've got some really good uncommons, primarily the Hex Gold Halberd here. 2 mana 2/2 first strike trample. During your turn you can move this equipment around later onto one of your 4/5s or 5/5s or something, and that is just huge to give those abilities on something large later in the game. There's Kemba's Outfitter, which actually also plays really well, making one of your expensive late game equipments really cheap to move around. Then at common we have Crawling Chorus, Stinging Hive Master for Toxic, Gataxian Raptor for blue blocks, and Batter Fist would just be the worst version of Halberd. I think I'm going to roll with the Halberd here. I think this card is just pretty nuts. 2 mana 2/2 first strike trample with the really good ability to move around later in the game. Pack 1 pick 2, we see another Crawling Chorus. We see our Viral spawning at uncommon for Toxic. Mephedros Slime for green black. It is a gold uncommon, so it ties us into 2 colors. Probably not going to take it super highly. We also have Axiom Engraver, which is a pretty great creature at common as well. 2 mana for a 1/3 that can filter out some of your land draws later in the game. Help you draw more of what you need. A little bit worse than Crawling Chorus, but not by a ton, so we could take the Engraver, just cut off red, and keep heading in that direction. But I think I'll take the Crawling Chorus here. Very, very good Toxic card. Alright, pack 1 pick 3, we do get past a Flensing Raptor to go with this Crawling Chorus, which is exceptional. Ambassador's good for any white deck, Lookout's good for any white deck, but I think Flensing Raptor is a little stronger than those two for the Toxic deck, which is the kind of deck that would want to play this Crawling Chorus that we're running. So I'm going to take the Flensing Raptor here, try to push towards a white Toxic strategy. The one awkward part about it is that the Halberd isn't going to work super well with white Toxic cards, but I think Crawling Chorus into Flensing Raptor turn 3 is one of the stronger curves in the format. And do some really nasty stuff. We do see a Hex Gold Slash here, which is very, very good in red, but we also see a Bilious Skull Dweller in black. So we could push towards black-white Toxic. This Skull Dweller works a lot better with our white cards than our red cards do, than the Hex Gold Slash Halberd would do. So I kind of want to head down the more synergistic color pair, go for the potential black-white Toxic deck here off of this Skull Dweller. Just a very, very efficient card, 1 mana 1/1 Toxic with Death Touch as well, so it still matters later in the game. But there was definitely the ability to be in like red-white equipment or something here as well. But I'll take the Skull Dweller, see where we go from there. Alright, now we have Complete Devotion, an excellent combat trick for a Toxic deck. Your opponent is going to want to block your early Toxic creatures quite often to stay uncorrupted, to stay off of 3 poison counters, so this Complete Devotion is often going to catch them off guard and draw you a card while you trade your creature up, so Complete Devotion is pretty excellent there. Another copy of Complete Devotion versus some really powerful red cards. Red is looking very open. And Skull Dweller was kind of the only black card we saw. Like, Testament Bearer is fine, but it's not really for the Toxic strategy. We haven't seen any Toxic follow-ups, which is awkward. So second Complete Devotion or an Exuberant Fuseling, so that in red we have a Halberd and a Fuseling at the ready. If red is going to just get past 2 premium red uncommons, pick 6, I think we should be open to the color pair. I'm going to take the Fuseling here. Or just open to the color in general. Alright, there's nothing good for our Toxic deck, nothing good for our red deck. I guess we could take the Phyresis Roach here, more speculatively, because we're not missing too much by not taking a non-color card. And this could push us into like green-white Toxic, because this by itself is a 1 mana Toxic 1. If it hits your opponent, it becomes a Toxic 2. If it hits them again, it becomes a Toxic 3. And if we have any other insects, like Skull Dweller is an insect, then it can add to the Toxic of the other stuff in our deck. So we'll take the Roach here. Justiciar would be good in like red-white equipment, but that's the only card we're really missing out on there. Alright, even when I am green-white Toxic, Plague Nurse isn't super where it's at because it's pretty slow, pretty dirtily, so I'll just take the Justiciar here. If you get a really late Barbed Batter Fist, pack 1, pick 9 there. also the Siphoner for black-white toxic, but I might just be moving towards just general red-white stuff as red is so open with that late Fuseling into late Batterfist. Well, we are seeing the black toxic creatures now. I think I'm going to take the black ones over the green ones. Skull Dweller just being better than Roach in my opinion. I could take Chrome Prowler, speculate on white-blue artifacts, Justiciar and Chrome Prowler being the start to that strategy. I think I'd rather take the Oil Gorger Troll though. On the very off chance we get to go like green, red, oil. Alright. Pack 2, what do we got? There's a Bladehold Warwhip for red-white equipment. That's pretty huge. There's a green-blue rare, but red and white are our most prominent colors. Then there's a blue-black rare, but again, red and white are our most prominent colors. So we could take like an off-color gold card if it shared at least one of those colors. If it was red-black, or if it was white-blue, anything like that. If at least one of the two colors in it was red or white, we could probably take a gold rare, but not when it's completely off color to either of the two colors we're focusing on right now. So I'll just take the Bladehold Warwhip here. I think we are moving towards that red-white equipment deck here. Alright, yeah, get past another Exuberant Fuseling. There's also an Atraxa's Skitterfang. It's pretty great in any deck, and definitely won't wheel since it's completely colorless. I'll actually go Skitterfang here. Ends up in the deck no matter what we're doing. Even if we get past some kind of very premium white-black toxic card and move back to that direction. Alright, well, we didn't get past a premium white-black toxic card, we got past another premium red-white equipment card. This is going to buff all of our equipment to give an additional +1/+0, and it's just a nice flyer and an equipment we can move around to give flying to whatever we need it to. Can't really play Phyrexia and Harvester without being incredibly deep into red, and we're going to be pretty equal into red and white, probably like an 8-8 split on the mana base. With Harvester, you want to be like 11 mountains, 6 of your secondary color, probably even more. Alright, Volt Charge, premium removal to see, pick 4, we're happy to take it. We're pretty committed now, seeing that. Aspirant is super solid for the archetype, making our equipment cheaper and the ability to equip them on the Aspirant cheaper. It's not like a super high pick, but it's the only on-color card in the pack, and it is solid for the strategy. Yeah, deck's looking very, very solid here. We get a second Volt Charge now. Very happy to take it. Like how the draft is working out here. It's kind of crazy because I feel like I passed a lot of really good red pack 1, but we're still getting past red all over the place. Now another Volt Charge. Hazardous Blast is fine as well. I don't love it in the red-white decks though, because I think these decks are pretty good at keeping the path clear with just red and white burn spells generally, and just playing it out more aggressively. Whereas Hazardous Blast is really good in like the red-green deck, because you end up with these board states of just a bunch of beefy red and green creatures, but it's like a board stall, so the Hazardous Blast just finds lethal out of nowhere. I find that that happens less often in red-white. Alright, we'll take a Batterfist here. Maybe we'll wheel that that quadruple red card and we can just be mono red at this rate in this draft pod. Because what I was going to say is that it's kind of wild to me that I was passing a bunch of good red last pack, which means that the players on our left should theoretically, there should be some people in red. But there's not really. And on the right, those are the people that were passing us all the good red in pack 1. So it's just everywhere. It's just open all over the table. We have 3 Barbed Batterfists and 2 Exuberant Fuselings. This is looking really good. Somebody did rare draft the Mythic Rare red card. it should be basically 100% impossible that somebody's trying to actually play that card, but somebody probably rare drafted the Mythic for their collection. The odds of somebody playing enough red to justify playing that card and there still being this many good rare cards, or good red cards being passed around, are super low. Take a Hex Gold Slash here. We're not in an oil deck in red-white. We're not in a toxic deck in red-white. But the Nettling Host would be okay in here. A lot of our white cards have toxic, but I think we're just trying to push as close to mono red as possible now. Red's going to be this open. Now we can get a 4th Volt Charge. However, there's a really cool, really fun alchemy card that I want to play with because I love elephants. So I think I'm going to take this. This is a 3 mana 3/3 Vigilance. Whenever it attacks, you conjure a Tempered Steel into your hand and create a 1/1. So 3 mana 3/3 Vigilance, whenever it attacks, make a 1/1. That's fine. It's pretty fine. Kemba actually makes more sense for the red-white equipment deck. And again, I probably want to be just as deep into red as possible and just splashing the white, where a double white card is hard to play, but I don't care. Golem the Shaper is too cool. Look at that. The big elephant artificer with a mirror in front of it. That's just cool. It's just the coolest. I'm going to play it. And you can't stop me from doing so. I guess I could prism to make it easier to hit the double white, but I don't think I'm doing that. All right, I think somebody on our right might have done the same thing and pushed into the red after all the stuff they've seen here. Got a lot of 3-drops, even if I cut Flensing Raptor, so I kind of would rather have the Splitter at 4 mana. Weirdly enough. Then a second Skitterfang, even though Skitterfang's better, just to help the curve out here to take Splitter. Nothing. Yeah, somebody on our right hopped into the red. Weird draft pod. We would have expected somebody on our left to hop into red and us to get like no red cards pack 2. But someone on our right who passed us 5,000 red cards in pack 1, I guess, saw that they wheeled all the way around the table and was like, wait, what? Alright, I guess I'll play red. I guess that's how it happened here. I'm not going to play Free from Flesh, so I'm just going to rare draft an uncommon for Vault Progress. Could play an Incisor Glider in here with Crawling Chorus and Flensing Raptor to maybe get a little bit of Toxic in, and worst case scenario, it's 2 mana 1/3 flyer. It's also an artifact creature to go with the Tempered Steel that we might be picking up. Works really well with 3 copies of Batterfist, turning it into a 2/2 flyer instead of a 1/3 flyer. Yeah, I like Incisor Glider here. Already spoke my piece on why I'm not in love with Hazardous Blast here. Alright, I changed my mind. Maybe there just weren't good red cards in that pack, because we got a pick 7 Hex Gold Slash. And now a pick 8 Chimney Rabble. Premium red cards. We could actually use Terramorphic in here. The problem is that I have tons of 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s, so we want to curve out every game. So I'm just going to try to play completely untapped lands. But the fact that we have a Golem in here means that a Terramorphic would be useful, because it's going to be hard to cast that. I do like Cacophony Scamp, and I think I'm going to take it over another 2-drop. 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I mean, I like both of these. But Scamp is really, really fun if you can put like a Volshock Splitter or something on it. Make it a 3/1 that shoots something for 3 when it dies. Take the more fun card there. The 2 mana 3/1's probably a little better. 2 mana 3/1 with an oil counter. You can remove the oil counter to give it indestructible. Pretty good. Alright, I don't think we have enough Toxic for Complete Devotion, but we can still play Chorus and Flensing Raptor because they're okay by themselves. And we can suit them up with a random Volshock Splitter or Bardiche and get some decent value off of them. Just a 3 mana 2/2 flyer is already okay. Gonna be a pretty easy deck to build. I've built this kind of archetype quite a bit in this format. And we only need to cut like 1 card because we're probably playing 16 lands. 11 creatures, but we have 8 equipment, so that's basically 19 creatures. So we cut 1 creature, 1 land, call it a deck. Should honestly probably cut Galma, but I'm not going to. Actually, we have enough white here. Yeah, 8-9 split. We can go 8-8 split. Probably want to cut a red card then. Yeah, 16 red, 9 white. Resistance Reunited is not very good, but we just need more non-creatures. Combat tricky nonsense. Alright, so I'm cutting a red card here, ideally. Our red cards are just better, though. Right, like, I would just want to cut Crawling Chorus or Flensing Raptor. The cards that make the least sense. We're just cutting a creature. Yeah, I'm not going to cut a red card. I'm just going to cut a... Maybe a Flensing Raptor? We still have Incisor Glider and Hover Wings in the sky. Although I still have 3 really good 1-drops without the Crawling Chorus. But then Flensing Raptor does literally nothing. It's just a 2/2 flyer. No enter the battlefield effect, ever. Yeah, one of these two is awkward. But as you can tell earlier in the draft, I was very open to trying to push into a white-based toxic strategy, like white-black or white-green. I even made some picks that were like, well, this is going to be worse for putting our red and white together. But that's okay, because I'm going to try to push towards toxic with Crawling Chorus and Flensing Raptor here. And then we still just really got past 1,000 red cards and ended up here anyway, so I guess if I wasn't so self-conscious about drafting the same archetype every single draft, we could have had a really, really good red-white equipment deck. But I think I still wheeled almost everything I wanted out of that pack, and that's kind of what pushed us in this direction. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, I mean, this looks good to me. I think we'll call it a deck there. Alright, here's a look at the deck we're going to be playing today. A very nice, very aggressive red-white equipment deck again. Red was just wide open. I mean, we got 2 Fuselings and a Scamp for just premium 1-drop creatures. 3 Batterfists, a Hexgold Halberd at 2 mana. More incredible red creatures. We got a Chimney Rabble at 4 mana. The Volshock Splitter and Aspirant, not the greatest, not the biggest signs that red's open, but every single other card I just listed is just a great red card in pretty much any red deck. And then we've got 3 Volt Charges and 2 Hexgold Slashes. It's just kind of insane how open red was in this draft pod. And then in white, we just have some decent support for the red-white equipment deck because we have so many 4 Mirrodin equipment in red. We've got a Bladehold War Whip, which is premium, Hexgold Hoverwings buffing all our equipment creatures, the Bardiche at the top end of the curve, and then a really cool alchemy card, Galma the Shaper. This is a 3/3 elephant that spits out a 1/1 artifact creature every time it attacks, and puts these cards in our hand that we could play to give all those artifact creatures +2/+2. So very fun alchemy rare to play around with as well. So that is the deck we're going to be playing today. Without further ado, let's get into the gameplay. Alright, here we are for game 1. We are on the play with turn 2 Justice here. If I hit any land, I have turn 3 Galma. If I hit a Mountain, I'm doing really well. This is a bit risky here, but I'm going to keep this. We hope to hit any land, and then we're kind of popping off Justice here into Galma. Galma keeps our hand full. It's going to let us at least keep playing Tempered Steels, even if I'm on exclusively Plains. Alright, turn 1 Prosthetic Injector from our opponent. We have not drawn a land on our first land drop. We got one more opportunity to win this coin flip and not miss a land drop. Alright, there we go. It's not only a land drop, but it's a red source, which is beautiful for us. Go ahead and attack with Justiciar, right? Yeah, Galma triggers specifically when Galma attacks, so we don't need to play Galma pre-combat here. Alright, we will hit for 2 with Justiciar, and then we'll play Galma. Oh, Galma's Vigilance too? Yeah, that's just very good. 3/3 Vigilance that makes a 1/1 every time it attacks. Already perfectly playable at that mana cost. So the random stack of Tempered Seals in our hand is just bonus. Alright, Anoint with Affliction onto the Galma. And now we are going to get immediately corrupted? No, we're just going to go to 2 poison. Prosthetic Injector, just adding 1 toxic to the creature there. Probably curve out with Hexgold Hoverwings here, hit for 3. Just gotta accept that we're going to be corrupted here, because they can already corrupt us with any Proliferate, and the only way that we're going to have a good block is if I hold up my combat trick, so I go Halberd and hold up Resistance Reunited. I don't think is worth it. I think I can let them corrupt me here to just play out my most aggressive creatures and try to outrace them. But we'll see, we could get shot in the back for that. There might be some super scary corrupted cards I'm not thinking of, but most of them are like Anoint with Affliction, where it's like, now it can exile bigger creatures, but Anoint can already exile pretty much every creature in our deck. Alright, we are up to 4 poison. We are corrupted. Whisper the Dross the Justiciar. Alright, so no matter what, we were going to be corrupted there, because they were just going to proliferate with that. So now I can Halberd and hold up a Volt Charge. Or Resistance Reunited. That is going to be the play. Probably going to Volt Charge if they move the Injector to the Duelist. They just go into combat here. I probably have to try to Resistance Reunited. Not in love with this position. There's some very efficient removal with some cheap toxic creatures. Has put us to 5 poison already. Okay, they're not going to move the Injector around. I guess either of these hits me for 2 poison. Still completely untapped. They could have a 3rd removal spell. I'm only losing a 2/2 Rebel token. If I don't make blocks here, I'm going to 9 poison and just dying to proliferate, so I don't really have a choice. Suppose I would rather kill the Duelist, because the only reason, or the Jawbone Duelist, because the Duelist of Deep Faith is only toxic 2 because it has an Injector on it, whereas this one is naturally toxic 2. Do I try to Volt Charge it, and then if they trick, then I still make a block here? Or do I just go for the Resistance? I think I'm just going to go for the Resistance here. Alright, cool. We are at 7 poison. Not ideal. Blightbelly Rat? Yeah, basically at 8 poison now. Batterfist is a solid blocker. Well, can't attack into the rat anyway, so I guess I'm holding back the Rebel token too. I could attack into it and Volt Charge, but so I'll just Volt Charge the Duelist and play Batterfist. Not going to do it while they're tapped out. They had 0 combat tricks last turn, so unless they top deck Complete Devotion, then it's better to just hold on to Volt Charge in case they want to move their Injector around at all. You can soak up some of their mana and still kill Duelist. Annihilating Glare on the 4/1 means that the Blightbelly Rat can get in freely. That is very bad. If I don't block, then I die. If I don't block or Volt Charge, then I die. If I Volt Charge Duelist, crack back for 7. Not enough. If I could somehow just barely survive here, then I could just kill them with Volt Charge. Yeah, I kind of have to just Volt Charge Duelist here, because the other option is just a Trump block, because that's a 1st striker, the other one's a 4 toughness creature. Yeah, that's just way better than Trump blocking. I really don't love going to 9 poison, but I think I have to potentially kill them on the crackback. If we hit another Volt Charge, they're dead. And we do have 3 in this deck, I think, with how open red was. Yeah, we have 2 more Volt Charges in here. But yeah, I'm going to have to hold up a chump block for Rat next turn. And if they have any Proliferate, we're dead. Alright, we just hit a land. I die to Proliferate or removal now. Still probably my best bet to hit them with one of these here. Because I lose to removal regardless. Because if I don't attack, and I have 2 creatures up, I can put a Batter Fist on one of them, right? And then whatever's Batter Fisted can block and kill the rat without dying. If they have removal, they'll just kill the one that has a Batter Fist on it, and then I have to chump block with the other one. Then I'm just playing off the top with 0 creatures on board against the rat, and I'm gonna lose that game regardless. So we gotta just play to our outs here. If they have nothing, this gives us a better chance of victory to hit them a little harder. Now we're more likely to find lethal on the crackback next turn. Whereas again, if they have the removal here, we're going to lose this game regardless. So we should play the way that gives us the best chance at victory against a hand that doesn't have removal there. Alright. That was a rough one. I think that matchup was pretty winnable, but our opponent curved out very well. Cheap toxic creatures and great removal spells. 3 removal spells to clear the path with the injector, getting too many poison on us too quickly. We were like 1 turn from victory. 1 no block from victory. Ah, yeah, really close one there. Had 1 less poison counter earlier. Could have cracked back and Volt Charge the face for lethal. Super close game as we head into game 2. Alright, here we are in game 2. Excellent hand. Right, we've kept our hand on the draw. Our opponent is starting with an island and a mountain. Blue-red will start things off with a Barbed Batterfist and move on from there. Got a Bladehold Warwhip and Atraxa's Skitterfang and Mirren Bardiche for more creatures to play. Hexgold Slash and Volt Charge for interaction for removal. Opponent drops a Blight Belly Rat. Will offer the trade and play a Warwhip. I think they can't attack into the Warwhip unless they have a trick or a removal spell to use on the Rebel token that it comes with. I'll definitely play an Aspirant once we have a 4th land, because then I can play Aspirant and hold up a Hexgold Slash, which should be very sweet. But I think I'm just going to keep curving out my other 3 mana creatures till I hit that 4th land. Alright, Volt Charge is the draw. I think we just attack in here. I don't really need any Skitterfang abilities right now. I guess maybe I will still play Aspirant here because of that. Like I could play Skitterfang and like send my 3/1 into the sky or something. But I'm pretty okay with that trade here. Like saving the Skitterfang for when the board state's cluttered up enough that I really need the bonus tax to flying or vigilance or anything like that. Alright, a trade for the rat and we'll deal 4 damage with the Warwhip. Now we'll drop an Aspirant and pass the turn. I can put a Batterfist onto the Aspirant for free, which is very nice, but I don't need to do that until I need the 3 power, which isn't going to be till attacks. Prologue to Phyrexia from our opponents, going to put a poison counter on us and draw them a card, but not going to impact the board at all. So we just hit as hard as we can. I guess I could have put my Batterfist on the Rebel for free at any point. If I do that, it dies to Whisper of the Dross. I could hit them harder, but leaves that Rebel token dead to a Whisper of the Dross. So just like another removal spell. Alright, looks like it would have worked out fine, probably. I don't know, I guess we wouldn't have seen the Whisper of the Dross unless we had a 1 toughness creature on the board. I keep the Batterfist unequipped for now, again, because we can move it around for free. But yeah, I totally forgot. The War Whip is so good that it just makes the Batterfist free. So we could have had that on there earlier if we wanted. Earnest Strider from our opponent. We'll just put the Batterfist on the War Whip, send it into the sky with the Skitterfang, and then Volt Charge their face. Good old interactive games of Magic the Gathering are going to be had in the Phyrexia All Will Be One draft format. Only the most interactive games. So our opponent's dead here as soon as they pass the turn to us. We can make a flying 3-power double striker and then shoot them for 3 in the face. So they'll take 6 from the War Whipped Rebel token, and then they'll take 3 from Volt Charge. Alright, they have passed the turn to us. Here we go. Free Batterfist. Give some flying. Now he's sending for 6 and 3 more from Volt Charge, and we are moving on now to game number 3. Alright, here we are in game 3. It's a pretty interesting hand. Obviously I don't have the white source, but I do have more red cards than white cards in the deck, and Scamp into Fuseling is kind of spicy. Could sack the Scamp to do the Proliferate thing, and then the Fuseling goes all the way up to 3 oil. It's like a 3-1 trample. Probably not worth it, but I'm still going to keep the hand and see what we do with it. So I'm going to turn 1 the Scamp, turn 2 the Fuseling. Okay, opponent's on blue. Oh, we hit the white source, so the hand is just perfect now. Well, not perfect. We don't have any interaction. But yeah, I could, if I want to go all in here, I can sack the Scamp to shoot them for 1 and make Fuseling a 3-1 trample, but I don't think I'm going to. Just like that that's an option, like that's pretty cool. I just think it's neat. Iker Synthesizer. Alright, well, now we're just not getting in, but I can play a Menace creature and then I can give flying to stuff with the Hover Wings. And then we are getting in again. And both of these 1-drops are great with Hover Wings. The Aspirant is pretty good with it as well. Have a Menace Flyer, but they're going to kill the Aspirants, which is fine. Synthesizer now has 1 oil counter on it. Got a Volt Charge, so we can kill the Synthesizer later, if and when we need to. Hover Wings is on the board. What else have they got? They're on blue, black, and green. Those are the main Proliferate colors if they have any of the cards that care about proliferating every single turn. The only like particularly powerful payoffs for that deck are alchemy cards. There's like a 4-mana artifact that every single time you proliferate, you get to draw another card that says proliferate on it. So that card just loops with itself infinitely. Pretty busted. Alright, I think I'm going to have to Volt Charge the Observer so we can keep hitting them. That does buff the Fuseling, which is nice. Malcator's Watcher from our opponent, and Thrumming Bird. Those are both going to make our One drop's significantly worse, even if we give them flying. Now there's multiple creatures they'll just trade off into. I guess Scamp is still pretty good, because it'll kill both of them when it dies. Or I can make it shoot the synthesizer when it dies. Actually, no, I only get +1/+0 from the hover wings, so that won't work. So Skitterfang. Yeah, I think Skitterfang give the Scamp flying seems pretty reasonable here. If they block with either, we kill both, and if they don't block, then we can sack the Scamp, kill Thrummingbird, and proliferate on Fuseling. You'd proliferate on Fuseling and Skitterfang? Yeah, that seems good. Actually just seems very good to attack with the Cacophony Scamp. I guess they could double block the Rebel token, but it's not really the Rebel token that's valuable, it's the Hexgold Hoverwings, so we're okay to lose that. Alright. They do block, so we don't get to proliferate, but I do get to shoot the Thrummingbird. Clear out both the flyers. Now it's just going to be more damage to put the flying onto the Fuseling. Hopefully they don't have Whisper of the Dross, but they do seem like the kind of deck that would have it. The Proliferate color trio. Whisper of the Dross is the instant speed -1/-1 and Proliferate card. Alright, a viral spawning. They haven't put any poison counters on us yet, so we are far away from corrupted. Gonna take quite some time before they can get another 3/3 Toxic Beast off of that. We can hit them for 6 damage a turn in the sky. They die in 3 attacks. That's probably just what we do here. Send the squad into the sky. We are going to be taking a hit from their Toxic Beast, but okay. Really running out of gas here. We've hit land number 7, which is definitely not very valuable for this deck. And they do have an Anoint with Affliction for the Exuberant Fuseling, so that slows us down quite a bit. Skitterfang only has 1 more counter on it at this point. So I actually think just trading it into their 3/3 Beast is probably fine. Make sure we still have 0 poison counters. Well, if they do this, they've got a trick for sure. Because they're not going to let me just kill Synthesizer for free. Means I think if they're going to attack like this, we just don't block. Well, maybe they didn't have a trick, because that was real fast. Maybe they just really wanted the poison counter, so they were just letting me kill the Synthesizer to get it. They have a post-combat Thirsting Roots at sorcery speed. Resistance Reunited is the draw. Alright, well I don't even need to give flying to hit them here. We hit for 5, they're at 11. Kill them in 2 attacks, guaranteed. Alright, well we're good. We just hit them for 5 and the next turn Skitterfang the Rebel into the sky. And then Resistance Reunited and they're dead. Just win this race here. That's the plan. Viral spawning, they have 3 mana up afterward, multiple black mana, so if they have a 3rd copy of Anoint with Affliction, they can get the Skitterfang and we will lose the game. 6, 7, I'm going to play this Bardiche pre-combat, because if they have Vraska's Fall to make us sack a creature in response to Resistance Reunited, that's going to be horrific. But if I play Bardiche first, then if they have Vraska's Fall, we'll just sack that and still kill them. Alright, no responses, and we are now going to be 2-1 as we head into game number 4. Here we are in game 4, we've got Fuseling into Halberd with a late game Bardiche. Definite keep. Let's get this ball rolling. An opponent is also on red with no 1-drop. Red-green, some oily stuff, some greased up creatures. And then the squad. Trade a combat trick into Engraver if they block, and just hit them if they don't. Already drawn another land here, so we're at 5 lands. Don't really want to hit any more. Hopefully get some more gas. Well, there's land number 6. Could be another game where we're flooding a little bit. Now they have the mana up for their own combat trick in response to ours, which is a bit awkward, but I have absolutely nothing else to do with my mana, so we're still going to go for it. And it's actually still a pretty good deal for me. Obviously I lose 2 cards here, but Infectious Bite's a pretty important one. And Resistance Reunited is like our 23rd best card in the whole deck. It's just losing that and a 1-drop. Alright, this is way too many lands now. Now we're going to have some serious issues if we don't start hitting some spells. See their next combat trick, trade it into another 2/2 rebel. Tyvar's Stand. Alright, premium combat trick, get out of here. Now Furnace Punisher. Well, it might be over. Send in with the First Strike Trampler here. Again, these trades of just like the Rebel that comes with the equipment for a premium combat trick like Tyvar's Stand are pretty good trades. The 2-for-1 was bad for us because we're already down on cards. So that was still kind of bad. But oh, they missed the First Strike there, so that's going to make up for some of the lost value. But yeah, like the 1-for-1 trade of the 2/2 Rebel token into the Tyvar Stand is like just objectively a pretty great trade for us. So that was like definitely the right block. In a world where we can just hit any more spells. If we can't hit any spells, then our options are like trade that off or sit here and do nothing and just keep getting hit by Rabble. And neither are great. I can start getting hit by the Rabble now, because if I trade this Rebel token into Rabble, then I have no creatures left. This is just horrible. Obviously, not what you want to see. They're down to 9 though. Cast 4 spells all game. Hit 4 spells and 9 lands. Doing my best, but not much I can do here. Opponent still has 4 more spells in hand, because they haven't played a land in several turns. Yeah, they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 spells. Alright. 10 spells versus 5 spells is just a pretty clear one-sided game there. Not a lot we can do in that one. We're going to be 2-2. As we move into round number 5. Alright, here we are in game 5, turn 1 Fuseling again. Super into it. We've got the War Whip and the Skitterfang. Let's go for it. Turn 1 Crawling Chorus from our opponent. It's going to be very annoying for us. You know what? Resistance Reunited is low enough impact card. I'm cool to just trade it into the first half of Chorus. On curve, get that out of the way so Fuseling can keep chipping in. The nice part about using it on the Fuseling is we still get some trample damage in as well, which is good. Drop the War Whip, that stops their attacks potentially. Turn 1 Crawling Chorus into turn 2 Duelist of Deep Faith. Into turn 3 Flensing Raptor. Alright. The picture perfect 1-2-3 drop from the Toxic deck. If we weren't on the play this game, I would say that we've pretty much already lost. That's just how Phyrexia All Will Be One is. There are some just absurd, aggressive, synergistic curves like Chorus into Duelist into Raptor available at Common that cause it to be one of the fastest limited, well, the literal fastest limited format ever on Arena. Luckily though, being on the play here instead of on the draw means we get to have some pressure of our own to try to outrace them here. Still gonna be kind of an uphill battle, I think, but do what I can. I mean, having War Whip and Skitterfang, we're in the lead for now. It'll all depend on what their 4-drop is. Like lifelink on the War Whip here? Vigilance would be pretty good as well, but I can block something with Scamp for good value. Right, like I chump block Duelist and shoot the Might before the Might deals damage to me. Yeah, no, Scamp is an excellent blocker, we'll just do that. That, of course, is going to buff the Fuseling, because one of our creatures or equipment will have died. Alright, let's see what their turn 4 play is here. Raptor's going to hit us and corrupt us. Turn 4 play is a Testament Bearer. Alright, that's not that bad. Mandible Justiciar off the top. Trade the Testament Bearer into the Fuseling. We hit them for 6 if they do that. Seems alright. Actually hit them for 7. Alright, they're just going to block the War Whip to keep the damage off of them. So we'll hit for 4. And we will play Justiciar and pass the turn. Nice wide board state there at 10. We're at a much higher life total, but we are at 3 poison, so 18 life, 3 poison. About to take 2 more. We're going to be halfway dead to Toxic, so we're basically at 10. We are both at 10 life, pretty much. Now an Incisor Glider. Okay, they might kill me with regular combat damage with that. Kind of have to block tonight to not die, though, right? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 10 damage. Hoverwings is going to make the War Whip a 3-power double striker as well, which is really nice. Yeah, we got to play that pre-combat here. It's going to buff the War Whip and the Justiciar. Skitterfang doesn't do anything, right? I mean, I guess I can give Death Touch to the Fuseling or something? That could be legit, but then I'm out of counters on it. So what do they just... Anoint the Rebel, block and kill the Fuseling for free, take 5 here. I probably should give the Fuseling Death Touch. Block the Skitterfang. Yeah, they're definitely killing the War Whipped token with something. Charge of the Mites, alright. Let's buff the Fuseling at least. Hit for 6 here. They're down to 4. They're down to 4 life. We've got a War Whip to put somewhere. We can move the Hover Wings around. Cannot attack us very much here. Unless they have good follow-ups. Alright, send in the Duelist. Cannot block that well. We'll go to 6 poison. Basilica Shepherd is the follow-up, so they have 3 blockers total against 5 attackers. Chimney Rabble off the top finds the victory. There you have it. Block our 3/3 power creatures and take exactly 4 damage. Chimney Rabble, excellent draw to end that game off. We're now going to be 3-2. Here we are on the play for Game 6. We've got a turn 2 Incisor Glider into turn 3 Galma with a Volt Charge as backup, so we'll keep it. Seems pretty solid to start things off. Opponent starts with a Forest. We've drawn a 1-drop creature on turn 2, always the saddest. Axiom Engraver will start things for our opponent. Galma is quite excellent with Incisor Glider because the Tempered Steel will be buffing the Glider as well, potentially. If they don't immediately have removal for this Galma, this is going to be a very cool game where we get to play some Tempered Steels, because I have the mana to play Scamp and Tempered Steel next turn. The one nice thing about drawing a 1-drop, even past turn 1, is it's really easy to fit it into the curve on a later turn. Shrapnel Slinger, blow up the Incisor Glider, potentially? No, they are just going to keep it on the board, so they can threaten a good block on Galma. I think I need to be able to just Volt Charge if they go for a double block, so we'll do that. Now we have a Tempered Steel in the hand. They are going to go for the double block. We'll try to Volt Charge and then play a Scamp. And that's going to be the concession from our opponent, because we're going to end up killing both of their creatures without losing the Galma. Which means Galma's going to attack again, make another mirror. They know we have a Tempered Steel. We can play next turn, make the Glider a 3/5, the mirrors 3/3s. They're just already over it, so Galma takes a nice quick victory for us as we head into game number 6. Game number 7, 4-2 now. Here we are now in game 7 with a ridiculous curve. We're not on the play, but we do have Fuseling into Halberd into War Whip on the draw. Super spicy stuff. So our opponent is on blue. They start with a turn 1 Surgical Bay, the blue tapped land. It's going to be blue-green again. Branch Blight Stalker on turn 2. Right, send in the Fuseling, offer the trade, and then we'll play the Halberd and still go for the trade on blocks here to keep that from hitting us, because 2 Toxic is pretty scary. We do need to just trade into the Stalker whenever we can. Ruthless Predation to blow up our 2/2 and make sure to hit us for 2 poison here. At least the Fuseling does get buffed since we've lost a creature. And our opponent does not have a third land to play. Neither do we. But hopefully we have just more early game plays than our opponent. Now we have a Cacophony Scamp for a great blocker for the Stalker. It's also a great attacker, because even if it hits them, we can just sacrifice it and kill the Stalker. I'm going to just block here and get this thing out of the way. Even though I could potentially get that nice Proliferate attack later, that's only if they don't play another creature. I'm just going to take the guaranteed kill on the Stalker while I can. Alright, Thirsting Roots grab a land, find their third land drop here. Another island. They drop it on the board. And drop a Thrumming Bird down. Alright, well, we'll offer the trade for the Thrumming Bird. I don't really have another option. They're not going to take the trade, go down to 13, and I'll drop a Barbed Batterfist. We did not hit another land, but at least we hit a 2-drop. We are getting to the point now. We're 29 cards left in the deck, 14 of which are lands. We're getting very, very close to the 50-50 after missing 3 or 4 land drops in a row. Alright, Branch Blight Stalker from our opponent, and there we go. There is the land. Now we are just playing with gas here. We just shoot the Stalker down and hit them for 7? That feels the best to me. I could play another creature here, but this is going to be a ton of damage, thanks to that Fuseling. They are down to 6 life now, and we've got a Volt Charge in hand, so we really only need to put them to 3 to kill them. They're going to hit us with Thrumming Bird again, put the 4th poison counter onto us. Ichor Synthesizer's the play, so they're still stuck on 3 mana, but that's going to be a lot more painful for their deck than ours. Most likely, they probably have, you know, some nice big 5-drop green creatures and stuff. They're going to kill the Fuseling, but go down to 2, and then we're just going to Volt Charge the face. And that's going to be game. 5 and 2, heading into round 8. If these plains were mountains, this hand would be beautiful, but they are not, so we are going to have to mulligan here. And this hand is also pretty good. Probably get rid of the Volshock Splitter. The Hoverwing's a much better 4-drop to have. And with a 4-drop in hand, we're cool with a 3-lander to start things off. See what our opponent is up to. They've got the gelatin sleeves. They've got the nice jello sleeves going on. I do actually like those sleeves quite a bit. I'm actually going to Batterfist first. They're very jiggly. They are enjoyable sleeves. They hit a creature to trade into the Batterfist. They do, and it's a Malcator's Watcher. Absolutely disgusting. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. Alright, let's just play an Incisor Glider, move the Batterfist over, and attack with a 2/2 then. Because you can't trade your 1/1 into a 2/2. So 2/2/2 is a little bit better than a 3/1 and a 1/3. But we still have a way to correct the board state, make it pretty good into the Malcator's Watcher. Alright, opponent goes for an Experimental Augury, probably digging for their land, since they just did that main phase. Now we play the Hexgold Hoverwings and stay aggressive. With only a Malcator's Watcher to block, we're going to swing in with everybody hit for 5 most likely. Yep, they're down to 13 already. Looking pretty good here. Mandible Justiciar for our opponent for a lifelinking blocker, potentially. Get a Bladehold War Whip. That is a very sick card. I think we're just going to attack I guess I can attack with everybody and offer the Rebel for Justiciar trade. Yeah, that's fine. We'll hold up all our tricks and our Volt Charge while we send in. Alright, lifelink trade on the ground. Gonna keep them at 9 life, and we'll drop a Bladehold War Whip. And pass the turn. Now all of our equip costs cost 1 less, so we can move the Batterfist around for free. Our opponent is just going to scoop them up. They're stuck on 3 mana there, and it's going to be really hard to get a board state that can compete with that current position. Magic Arena is going to be entering maintenance soon. Hopefully we can finish off this draft first, because we've only got 1 game to go. 6-2. We're now heading into the final boss. No matter what, we're playing the maximum number of games of Magic today. A full 9-round run. So we'll see if we get a nice 7-win run, get a bunch of gems out of it, or just the 6-win very close to greatness. Alright, here we are on the play for the final game with Fuseling into Justiciar or Glider into War Whip. Very nice curve to have on the play here. Probably going to play the Justiciar first in the interest of just playing the highest power cards for now. Putting as much pressure on our opponent's life total as possible. They're on red as well, but they do not have a 1-drop at the very least. Here's our Justiciar. For 2 mana, they have a Hexgold Halberd that is a 2/2 that can trade into Justiciar or kill Fuseling without them losing a creature. Let's drop the War Whip and just attack with Justiciar. They'll probably take the trade, but we'll gain 3 life and buff the Fuseling. Yep, take the trade. Fuseling now a 2/1, and we are up to 23. Now an exuberant Fuseling of their own. No land for them. We have Hexgold Slash that I can play while playing a Skitterfang here. Feels good. So I just go for that. I don't need to slash the Fuseling to still get in with everybody, so I'm just going to hold on to the slash for hopefully one of their next creatures that I need to get out of the way. Skitterfang is already going to be making blocks so difficult for them that a 1/1 does not matter too much right now. And if they don't play anything better, we'll still just slash the Fuseling by the end of their turn. Opponent is making a very difficult decision on whether they need to be chump blocking here or keeping the Fuseling around, and they are going to take all the damage. See if they hit their 3rd land yet. Maybe their 2nd color. Blazing Crescendo on the Fuseling to draw a card. Well, Slash is going to be disgusting here. We just counter the Crescendo so they can't draw into the land. It feels really rude, but it's just objectively the best play by a lot. If they're in a position where they're just main phase Crescendoing their Fuseling, that means they just really need that land. And by killing the Fuseling before it resolves, Crescendo won't do anything. They'll then be tapped out with nothing on board, and we attack for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, put them to 5, and they have 1 turn to try to live. Yeah. Feels kind of rude, but definitely the right line, definitely the best play. We are now 7 wins and 2 losses, so a nice 7-win run from this Boros equipment deck. Feels like the archetype that I've gotten more 7-win runs with than anything else. Just really good, especially when it's this open. Honestly, I don't think... I mean, maybe, you know, white was probably about as open as several other colors, but I don't think there's any way that anybody who's drafting even just moderately competitively should end up in any color other than red out of that draft pod. I think 100% you should be red and something else, because, again, I didn't take very many red cards early pack 1. Almost all of these cards showed up halfway through the first pack, Most of them showed up pack 2, pack 3, and we ended up with 3 Volt Charge, 2 Slash, triple Batter Fist. Like, I'm pretty sure all 3 of these came pretty late. And then, you know, Chimney Rabble, Double Fuseling, Scamp. The red was easily where it's at here. The white in here is still good, but not as insane. The craziest thing we have in white is the mythic rare that we opened up. So that doesn't mean that white was particularly open. We took a Hover Wings relatively early, a War Whip relatively early. Those were obviously phenomenal in the deck. Overall, just another very good red-white equipment deck. Mainly just got pushed into there by red being so dang open in the draft pod. So excellent stuff from the deck. Everything worked pretty well. The biggest underperformer being Resistance Reunited. That was a pretty horrible combat trick, but we kind of knew that already. It's one of the weakest combat tricks in the format. We just needed something other than creatures, because we had like 18 in the deck when you count all the 4 Mirrodin equipment. So I could even have seen, again, because it just rarely mattered that much, I could see maybe Rebuke over it or something. Pretty filler. Maybe the Raptor over it. I don't know. That was my least favorite card in the deck. Everything else did pretty great. Did its job quite well. Alright. So 7-2. Excellent run. We're going to get our max prizes, 2,200 gems, and 6 packs out of the event. But that is going to end today's video. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more, make sure to stick around on the channel. You can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more of these videos in your recommended feeds. If you're interested in catching me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you would like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. Other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.